Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, and welcome to another episode of Comic Class, the show every single week on this channel where we just geek out about comic books. And guess what, everyone? The Fantastic Four are back! They were gone for a while, but now they're back, in Pog form. I have to get that one Simpsons reference into every single episode. You might be saying, no you don't. I get it in there somewhere. It's very subtle, but it's there every now and again. It's literally right behind my shoulder right now. Hey everyone, so yes, as I said, the Fantastic Four returned today with Dan Slott's brand new Fantastic Four series. And for anybody who doesn't know, a couple years back, during the Secret Wars event, the Fantastic Four actually split up. Not in like a dark, depressing, like, oh, this is the end of the Fantastic Four. We'll never speak to each other again. The family is finally broken. No, it was a, this is the biggest adventure we've ever had. We have to stop Dr. Doom when he is at his most powerful. Reed Richards proves himself more than he ever has before. And now he and Susan and all the children go off to basically create the brand new multiverse, to explore the unknown forever. It was actually a great send-off. In fact, in all honesty, it was one of the best send-offs to a character and a team that I've ever seen. But people weren't okay with that, because people do not want to see their characters go. I understand that. I 100% understand. When you love something, you want to keep reading about it. But you guys, you've watched this channel for long enough. I've brought this up several times, but I want to see characters eventually move on. I want to see them eventually walk off into the sunset so that we can get that next generation of heroes out there. I've brought this up several times on this channel, but if comic book fans in the 60s acted the way the comic book fans today acted, we never would have gotten Barry Allen or Hal Jordan or several of the other characters that came around that time period. We would have just stuck around with the same ones that were around since World War II. So yeah, I have kind of mixed feelings on this one, because there have been several heroes that Marvel has recently tried to send off into the sunset and it didn't really work because they didn't really do a good job of sending them off. Don't get me wrong, I actually like a lot of the legacy characters that they created, but you know, the heroes kind of got really dark and depressing send-offs. Really sad, just like, oh hey, some random villain did this thing and now Captain America is an old man again. I understand people being upset about that. And I understand people coming in here and saying, well, I want to see him come back because, yeah, he didn't really get that good of a send-off. The Fantastic Four, on the other hand, let's be real, that's the best possible send-off that you could ever give the Fantastic Four. You have a storyline that was building over the course of years, all leading up to Reed Richards having to face off with a Dr. Doom who has the abilities to control the entire multiverse. Yeah, you're never going to get bigger than that. And you're never going to have an ending that really tests Reed Richards and really shows what he can do more than that ending. And the idea of them going off and basically just forever as a family exploring the unknown as they create a brand new multiverse, yeah, that is an amazing send-off. It's not, oh hey, I lost my power so I guess I just can't be this hero anymore. It's, no, I'm going to do the thing that our team was made to do. As a family, the thing our team was made to be, forever. It is the nicest, happiest send-off the Fantastic Four could ever get. But we can't have send-offs in comics anymore, so they are now back. And as I said, I'm torn on it, because I understand that people love the Fantastic Four. I understand that, and I understand that if that is your team, you don't want to see them go. And especially considering that there was all those little, you know, let's be real, all those little like backdoor deal kind of situations going on where it was like, yeah, we're getting rid of them not because we think it's their time to move on, but because, you know, Fox owns the movie rights to those guys. Yeah, I understand that's really sleazy, and I understand people being upset about that. But this isn't like, hey, Fox owns the right to the X-Men, so we're going to create a disease that kills all the X-Men and try and force the Inhumans down your throat. No, this was actually a really respectful send-off that really captured the heart of this team. It's everything you want in a send-off, and eventually, 20, 30 years down the road, someone's gonna try and give them another send-off. And I can't imagine them coming up with something better than this. It feels like this was the one shot we had to finally give a team a send-off, and to finally kind of move this universe ahead into the next generation, and it just ain't happening, because that just isn't what comics do. Yeah, so you guys probably didn't expect me to start this video off on a big downer note, did ya? But no, as I said, I do understand why people want to see them return. And they have now returned, so today we're going to be talking about Dan Slott's brand new Fantastic Four #1. And I'll go ahead and say, A lot of people, at least on my Twitter feed, were super nervous when Dan Slott got announced to be the writer of this book because they didn't really enjoy his run on Spider-Man, and I've spoken about my feelings towards his run on Spider-Man. I didn't really care for it all that much either, and I felt like he was there for way too long, so I can understand people who only knew Dan Slott from his time on Spider-Man thinking, oh man, no, that's not a good fit. I did not only know Dan Slott from his run on Spider-Man. I knew Dan Slott from his run on Silver Surfer, which was all about this person exploring space with someone else who he cared for deeply, and it was all about them just going off and exploring the unknown. That's perfect for a Fantastic Four book. I also knew Dan Slott from his run on The Thing. Yeah, The Thing had a very short series right before the original Civil War came out. That series was amazing. I freaking love that book. In fact, one of the supporting characters from that book actually pops up in here. So I was really happy to see that character return. And you know what? He wrote a darn good thing. He wrote a great Ben Grimm. So I looked at that and went, hey, listen, in Silver Surfer, he captures the spirit of what the Fantastic Four should be. In his Ben Grimm The Thing series, yeah, he absolutely knows how to write these characters. Put those two together, you have a perfection sandwich for the Fantastic Four. And you know something? I gotta say, this is a darn good Fantastic Four book because it feels like a Fantastic Four book, which is really saying something since there's only two characters in this. Like I said, Fantastic Four, it's all about exploring the unknown, but it is also about family. And this issue is Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm just being really sad that the Fantastic Four aren't around anymore. And then one day, someone sends off a flare that calls for the Fantastic Four to be assembled again, and Johnny is all excited because he's thinking, oh my goodness, this is it. This is the Fantastic Four. Reed and Sue and the kids, they're finally back. And Ben's like, I know that ain't happening. Yeah, they're gone, and I've accepted that, and I've kind of moved on. And yeah, when you think about that, and you think about, oh, so they're not like exploring space or anything like that, and it's only just those two there, how is this a great Fantastic Four book? Because even with only these two people, it feels like a family book. It feels like Johnny and Ben, you get that connection between them. You get how much Reed and Sue mattered to them. There is one quick flashback that shows an untold tale that they went on. Oh my goodness, that feels like a great untold tale of the Fantastic Four. It's a story about them lost at the corner of infinity, and they have to find a way back, and if they don't find this one possible chance to get back, then they are lost forever. And the way that they are able to return is they have to decide which member of their team is the best singer. And the family actually gets into like a little tiny family argument about, it's like, well, no, it's really Johnny, honey. I'm sorry, Susan. Oh, but you said you like my singing. Well, yes, but, I'm flying the space car now, honey. It's like, yes, that is perfect Fantastic Four style humor. That is perfect Fantastic Four style family level of comedy and warmth to it. Yeah, he proves in this book, he gets the emotional side of the Fantastic Four. And a big part of that is that, you know, on this show, I do get into a little bit of the spoilery stuff. I don't go too far into it. But yeah, I am going to spoil something in here because it is kind of important to talk about. In here, it opens up with Ben Grimm going to a street market with Alicia Masters, his longtime on-again, off-again girlfriend. And the interactions between them are great. The interactions between them, again, it captures what you want in the interactions between those two characters, and it proves to me Dan Slott understands how these characters interact with each other. But at the end of this, Ben Grimm, after he decides, yeah, it's time that I finally accept they're not coming back, he goes and he proposes to Alicia Masters, and she ecstatically says yes, and that one panel, oh, I'm getting warm and tingly just thinking back to that one panel. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I am just so incredibly, getting a little bit overwhelmed by it right now. The panel itself is great. Just this image of Ben Grimm down on one knee, he's got the giant bouquet of flowers, and the art by Sara Pichelli adds to that so much because the perfect way to describe Ben Grimm is big ol' lovable lug. That is the perfect way to describe him. And that one shot that Sara Pichelli had of him down there on one knee, yeah, That is absolutely the best way to describe how he looked in that one shot. So you've got a writer who knows how to write these characters, an artist who knows how to draw these characters. Yeah, this is a dream team coming together and writing these characters. And as I said, I had to kind of spoil that little bit about Ben Grimm proposing because, as I said, I want to see this universe move on. I don't want to go into a comic store in 20 years and all these characters are in the exact same spot where they are right now, because then it feels like none of this wasn't important. However, in here, you actually had Alicia Masters get engaged to Ben Grimm. That should have happened ages ago. That has just been there on the table and no one's picked it up this entire time. They are a great couple and it's just been sitting there and no one's been willing to take it. And I swear to the Watcher and all the other Marvel gods out there, if you tease us with this and then don't actually make it happen, oh, I'm taking back all of the nice things that I said. Oh my goodness, because I am so in your corner right now on this. I was so not okay with bringing the Fantastic Four back because I thought that they had the perfect send-off. But man, you won me over with this issue, and if you take that away, we all know how Dan Slott loves to just tease the idea of couples getting together and then not have it actually go through. Ooh, I'm gonna be mad if that's what happens. Okay, alright. Calm down a little bit. But this whole thing ends with the team still not back together, but finally Reed and Sue send out this little alert like, hey, we're still here, and don't worry, we're coming back. Although, oddly enough, there's just one shot of Reed setting up the machine to send out the message, and at the end of Secret Wars, it made it feel like, yeah, we've got like this high-tech setup, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna be absolutely fine. They look kind of Robinson Crusoe at the end of this thing. Like, their uniforms are tattered, and it really looks like, yeah, we've just kind of been out here, just sort of foraging on a deserted island for who knows how long. And it's like, oh shoot, what exactly have you guys been up to? And it made me realize, you know what, I would absolutely love like a 4-part miniseries that just shows what they did after Secret Wars. Like, what have they all been up to? Yeah, I would really dig seeing what ended up happening to all of them. But also, while I'm talking about Reed and Sue and what happened to them, they had better have a really good explanation for why they let Ben and Johnny think that they were dead. Because at the end of Secret Wars, I got the feeling like Ben and Johnny knew that they were alive, still out there in space somewhere, that they were out there doing big, important work, and hey, they'd see them again someday. That's the feeling that I got. But yeah, with Chip Zdarsky's Marvel 2-in-1, they flat out said, no, we think they're dead. We are just going to 100% assume that they're dead. I'm going to need some kind of a really good explanation for why Reed and Sue didn't reach out to them sooner. That is the one thing that they still have to do in this book to really win me over in the future issues. But in the end, I really did enjoy this issue. Even as somebody who was coming in here and naysaying and saying, yeah, I wish that they had just kind of stayed gone because I think they had such a good send-off and I don't think we're ever going to really top that. Yeah, this issue, it felt like a Fantastic Four book. And here's the thing about Fantastic Four. Nothing else out there really feels like the Fantastic Four. If I'm missing Spider-Man, I got other books out there that feels like Spider-Man. If I'm missing the X-Men, I got other books out there that feel like the X-Men. Nothing really feels like the Fantastic Four. They really are that unique. And I gotta admit, I didn't fully appreciate that until this issue. Because even though it's only been, like 3 years at this point? Yeah, this absolutely felt like, oh, I haven't had this taste in a long time. This is something that I just have not experienced in a while. It's kind of good to have that back again. So, I'll admit, I understand. I get it. I do still kind of wish that they had stayed gone because that ending was perfect, but I understand why you would want them back. I get it. However, you can't have the Fantastic Four without their biggest villain. And at the end of this, there is a 10-page little backup story that shows Doctor Doom rising back up to reclaim Latveria. He's putting on the mask again. He's decided, you know what? Screw it. I tried being a hero. I tried being a god. I know what I am. I'm Doom. So he rises back up to try and take over Latveria again. And actually, it was a great little backup story. You know me, I tend to hate the backup stories in Marvel books because most of them are just there simply because, hey, if we put this thing in here that nobody was asking for, we can charge an extra buck on our books. And yes, this book is $5.99, and I will admit, even though I came in here praising this, I would gladly have paid $4.99, but $5.99 is a tad much. I'm really glad that I have Comixology Unlimited because then it was only $5 for me. But yeah, man, a full-on $5.99 still feels a little bit light. Like, I read through this thing really quick. This was another one of those books where when I got to the end of it, I went, no, that's not it. No, there's some more pages to this thing. This couldn't have been over with yet. I was just done like that with it. So yeah, $5.99 still feels like a bit much. However, I'm not complaining about the backup story on this one because it is a legitimately good backup story. Simone Bianchi, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. I've never really known the correct way to pronounce that name. I completely apologize. But his artwork is incredible on those pages. And it does, again, prove to me Dan Slott knows how to write these characters. Because Doctor Doom felt like Doctor Doom in these pages. 100%. And you can't have the Fantastic Four without Doctor Doom. In fact, in all honesty, I kind of wish this wasn't a backup story. I kind of wish, just like how I wish there was like a 4-part miniseries explain what happened to Reed and Sue after they left, I kind of wish that this was its own 4-part miniseries. I mean, Doom rising back up to retake Latveria? That's not something that can really be told in backup stories. That deserves a main attraction. That deserves to actually be the full focus of an entire little miniseries. So yeah, that's only really like the small complaint that I have with it is that I wish we had gotten more, and I'm sure that we will get more. I'm sure that there will be more backup stories, but I feel like it needs to be its own entire issue. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of this brand new Fantastic Four book down in the comments below or on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. As I said, yes, I do have a little chip on my shoulder about this book, but it does feel like the Fantastic Four. Dan Slott absolutely nailed that. Sarah Pichelli absolutely nailed that. This book is in good hands. And if you are a Fantastic Four fan, I would be surprised if this was not what you had been waiting on. Except, of course, for the fact that Fantastic Four at the end of this issue still are not totally back together. But next issue, they will be. However, even with them not back together, it just feels like the Fantastic Four. And that's kind of what you need in a Fantastic Four book. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Come back next week. Bye.